I've had a number of people ask me what I use to test my ketones and my glucose. And we use a Keto Mojo, and I've had it for a while. I thought I'd just give you a rundown of what it comes with, what it's like, my experience with the product, and those types of things. I bought my Keto Mojo. I got it on Amazon. I think it was $59. It comes with 20 test strips initially. Pretty sure that's the number. 10 for glucose, 10 for ketones. So that's what you get up front. I've liked it a lot. In fact, I liked it so much that after I had mine for about a week or 10 days, I bought my wife one as well. That might tell you everything you need to know as far as my opinion goes. We've been really happy with them. There are some really pretty neat features with these. One of them is there's 2 apps you can get for this. Now, at least on an iPhone, I'm assuming it'll be the same for an Android, but me and my wife both happen to have iPhones. There is the classic app, which will give you those readings, and it tracks those readings. There's a dashboard that shows your averages and all those types of things. Your readings are also stored in the Keto Mojo themselves, but you got to kind of cycle through them. It connects to your phone via Bluetooth, so it's really handy. You do your readings, hit the sync button in the app, and it pulls them in. They also have a new app, which is a little more like their website, and you can open an account on their website. It's completely free, and it gives you just a ton of information there. You can download your readings into a spreadsheet or anything like that. It gives you your glucose and your ketone reading plus a GKI, or you can use those readings to get a Dr. Boz ratio. If you're not familiar with those terms, the GKI ratio or the Dr. Boz, it's basically a ratio that shows the difference between glucose in your bloodstream and ketones in your bloodstream. And I won't talk about in depth about that, but you can do searches for those things on YouTube or on the internet, and you can find all the information you'd ever want to know about those. Also, in the kit, it comes with a couple of test solutions so that you can make sure your reader is calibrated correctly still. They recommend that you do that when you first get it, and then maybe every few months. We've done it a couple times. One of the things I really liked when I got my wife's, before I set hers up for her readings, once you start doing readings, you can clear them all out, but you really can't share one of these very effectively. You can, but it's not going to track your averages, your highs, your lows, or things like that. So just keep that in mind if you want to actually share one of these. But when hers arrived, before I set it up for her, I actually did tests on both of these myself, and just to make sure. And I always got results within about 0.1 plus or minus, which is pretty much probably the margin of error on these kind of testers. These cost $59, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's what they run. The cost, really, long term, is with the strips. The strips are fairly pricey. The glucose strips themselves are not really expensive. The ketone strips, they are. And I buy those in, I think, sets of 60, and that would be 30 glucose and 30 ketones. Now, when I first got mine, I just ran through strips like crazy. The novelty of it, I'd test in the morning, before I ate, 2 hours after I ate, in the evening, and sometimes another time during the day, which was really informative for me because I really learned what my sugar was doing throughout the day. How was it affected? And also my ketone production. Now, once I got a feel for that, I still test, but I don't do it nearly as often. I used to test every single day, sometimes multiple times. Now I'll test every week or so or something like that. One other issue on these strips, just keep this in mind. Many years ago, I had a tester that would do glucose and uric acid. And you can buy cheaper testers on Amazon. They have cheaper strips and all those types of things. But my old tester, I experienced what I think a lot of people do with cheaper type meters. About a 25% or maybe a third of those strips actually failed. So you'd put them in and you'd actually get an error. Even though the strips themselves are cheaper, I don't know that I saved any money. I've only ever had one strip fail to test properly, and I was actually in the timer waiting for the reading to pop up, and I knocked the Keto Mojo off my knee. It bounced off the floor, and of course, it came up with an error. So the other thing that comes in the kit, a nice little case, it comes with with the sticker. That's not what it's called, but that's what it does. And a small pack of lancets. Now, I used to change these out every time I tested. I just don't do it anymore. I'm sure that's what's recommended, but I generally use my the same lancet until basically it starts to sting a little. Or one time I actually had one that just was so dull it wouldn't puncture my skin. But they're pretty painless when you first put them in. As they dull, you'll begin to feel it a little more. One thing about this I never knew. I just always took the top off and pressed the lancet back down to make it work. I realized, surely by accident, that you can actually cock it. Who knew? To test these, it's super simple. You just put in your strip, a little light comes on, you know it's there, you're gonna hit a finger. It does not take very much blood. The glucose readings, which are the brown ones, it's 5 seconds. So it's super fast. One prick is sufficient as long as you're careful. My glucose happens to be 90 right now. And then you'll just stick in your next strip. And that's a little harder, try not to. And once it comes up and it's ready, you'll just, you know, let me see if I have enough without. Yeah, okay. It does take 9 seconds to do the ketone reading, so it's a little longer, but still not very long at all. 3.2 on the ketones. Once you're done, that's it. You just pull that strip out, get rid of those. If I had my phone, which I don't because I'm videoing on it, I'd open up the app, hit sync. It just pulls that data right into my phone. If I want, it will upload it to the website, which is, it's totally free, but it's not necessary at all. My wife doesn't have an account, so hers are all just on her phone. Overall, I've been really pleased with them. I've really liked them a lot. There'll be a link in the description below to Amazon, which is where I purchased mine. You can also buy these directly from the Keto Mojo website if you choose to. And that's it. I think testing, a lot of people don't ever do it. I really was just curious more than anything. And it's a great way to track your glucose, especially if you're dealing with, prediabetes, which I was originally. I'm not anymore, but back earlier on I was, or if you're diabetic, and you may already have a glucose tester, but being able to test your ketones to see whether or not you're in ketosis and how food affects that, or how intermittent fasting affects that and those types of things. It was really enlightening for me. And again, after a while, you'll kind of get a feel for where you are and you can really cut back on the testing. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions I didn't cover, certainly leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer those, or anything else that you'd be interested in leaving a comment about. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.